Today on SAU News.
BCU Night is the culmination of African American Heritage Month here at Southern, and lots of people are here to help celebrate it. At SAU News, we'll have the story.
Resident Hall students, this new policy may cost you a $100 fine if you're caught violating it. These stories and more coming up.
SAU News starts now. Welcome to SAU News. I'm Estefania Sanchez. Our weekly newscast is brought to you by the School of Journalism and Communication. If you are one of the many college students who have travel plans for spring break, you're probably wondering about the coronavirus. Could it make travel difficult? As the U.S. government monitors this health crisis, so is our university administration. My co-anchor, Gia Arroyo, has the latest from our experts at University Health Center. Gia?
Joining us here in the studio today is Michelle Mix, a nurse practitioner at the Health Center. Michelle, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for inviting me.
So we understand that the mission trip to South Korea has been canceled, and with spring break coming, what advice do you have for students that are traveling?
Wash your hands all the time. You can't wash your hands enough. One of the things I've noticed is a lot of people like to wash their hands very quickly, but it takes time for the soap to work and get the germs off your hands. So a little trick I like to recommend is washing your hands while singing happy birthday through twice. So for a full 20 seconds, washing your hands to make sure that you get all of the germs off of your hands. Masks, a lot of people have been asking me about whether or not they should wear a mask as they go through airports or subways, things like that. What's really more important is to keep your hands away from your face. A lot of times when you're wearing a mask, because it's uncomfortable, it's foreign to have on your face, people end up playing with it a lot. They touch it and they end up actually bringing their dirty hands to their face. So we don't recommend that healthy people wear masks even while traveling through public transportation. Instead, we recommend only sick people wear masks, and that's so that they keep their germs to themselves.
So Michelle, we imagine that many students come to the health center with flu-like symptoms. Are you guys testing them for the coronavirus?
We are not. Right now, the only place in Tennessee that is testing for the coronavirus is in Nashville at the State Department of Health. So they are working on getting every local health department in the United States access to test for the coronavirus, but it's a special test and it's not widely available. If it continues and it becomes available to the general public, we will absolutely get on board as fast as we can. But for right now, the only place testing in Tennessee is in Nashville.
And how can students take precautions to avoid getting sick?
And sick in general, again, back to hand washing, trying to avoid people who are sick. Frequently, students want to go to class while sick because classes are so important, but we're really recommending that if you're sick, even with mild cold-like symptoms, that you don't go to class, or that you speak with your professor beforehand and kind of come up with a plan for maybe sitting off to the side, or like I said, if you're sick, wear a mask so that as you cough and sneeze, those droplets aren't being released into the air around you. The deans are also more than willing to help bring food to students who are running fevers and living in the dorm so that they don't have to go out and about on campus and risk infecting other people.
So where can people go to find more information and stay updated about the coronavirus?
The CDC has a wealth of resources available. They have videos, they have articles, and they are the most up-to-date source of information that you can find. They have information based off of state, based off of country, based off of region, and they are our go-to source for that information. So cdc.gov/coronavirus, I'm pretty sure, is the website.
Michelle, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
The Enactus group Bring It hosted its second pitch competition. The event aims to help student entrepreneurs and provide networking opportunities. The LaunchU pitch competition took place last week in Thatcher Chapel. The student-led project gives students the opportunity to pitch business ideas in front of an audience and a panel of judges. Business Administration senior Isaac Fernandez won first place and received a $5,000 cash prize for startup funding. He says this event gave him the opportunity to meet other entrepreneurs and network with the judges.
I feel like LaunchU did a really good job overall because it's not only the fact of, yes, the entrepreneurs are being funded in terms of capital, but they're also networking amongst each other.
Isaac wants to encourage students to not hold back from being risk takers. He believes the risks may be high, but the opportunities and rewards are too.
Last weekend was the much anticipated Black Christian Union Night. Reporter Jake Fisher brings us the story.
It was the 29th of February, the last day in Black History Month. The BCU had a special night planned, which involved food, culture, and a special message. The theme for the night was Hidden Figures, and the meaning behind it may seem obscure. Luckily, Michaela Lewin, a BCU Night volunteer, helped to shed some light on the theme for that night.
People that have paved the way for us that people might not necessarily know about. So not necessarily talking about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, even though those people were great and they did pave the way, talking about some of the people that are hidden. So the ones that they'll talk about tonight you'll see, but like just knowing those people that aren't well known.
Before the show even started, attendees were treated to food from Black cultures all over the world. The Caribbean, parts of Africa, and even America were all places that had a spot on the menu. While students and staff mingled with their food, they were also treated to a bit of Black culture and craftsmanship. So before the show actually starts, there's a bit of an exhibition going on here in the front of the Isles gym. First off, we've got people painting here on the left. Looks like a painting of Kanye's album Pablo. Then next, we got somebody working on clay over here to my right. Then even beyond that, on the far back there, we have people working on hair styling and hair cutting. When the main program began, the night's theme was shown through a play highlighting little or unknown Black figures throughout history. Then, in the middle of the play, came the performance many were looking forward to, the step dance team. I was able to talk with one of the leaders of the step dance crew, Pubert, and he told me what a night like this really means.
It's meant a lot to me because I've learned about this culture and a lot about my own that I didn't know. So being able to showcase some of these things that people don't know, who knows? Some people might learn a few new things tonight, and I feel like it's great that we're showing people things that they didn't know. We're embracing our culture, we're embracing our traditions, and we're just having a good time appreciating it. And I hope that people take something from it.
For SAU News, I'm Jake Fisher.
BCU Night was produced through the effort and time of many people, and we here at SAU News congratulate them on their successful program.
If you live in a residence hall, there's a good chance your dorm room will be inspected. It's part of a new policy cracking down on unsafe living spaces that could spell trouble in case of an emergency.
SAU News reporter Hannah Moyer has been talking with residence hall deans. Hannah, what have you discovered?
Well, you heard correctly. The new spring cleaning policy is being enforced. While the inspections are being done both in all residence halls, my investigation took a closer look at what's happening in Thatcher. The deans have put a new monthly procedure into place. All dorm residents will get their rooms checked for cleanliness. If a room isn't up to standards, an RA will warn the students and check it again that Thursday. If a room is still messy, a dean will speak to the resident, and after all the warnings, if someone still chooses to not clean their dorm, the room will be fined. Dean Luby has trained students for the dorm review. She explains they're not looking for an unmade bed, but for something more serious.
We're concerned about the rooms where if you were an emergency, we would be tripping over stuff to get to you. When the doors opened, people smell stuff. Garbage on the floor, food left out.
Here in the girls' dorm, one of the things the RAs are looking for would be a clear pathway to the AC unit. Another thing the RAs are checking for would be a clear countertop. While some believe this is an unneeded regulation, junior elementary education major Daniela Trejos isn't bothered. She believes this is a good way to keep everyone clean.
I think this is a good incentive for if you have a roommate that tends to be a little bit more on the dirtier side than you. I think this is a good way for both people to kind of start being more accountable for their cleanliness.
The RAs and student deans will also get their rooms inspected. Dorm rooms will be checked on the first Monday of every month, and the fine for an unsafe room is $100. For SAU News, I'm Hannah Moyer. Room inspections should not be confused with monthly shower checks. Those are done by housekeeping.
These students you've talked to sound positive about the inspections. Does everyone feel this way?
Some students were quite upset. They said things like, "I'm being treated like a kid." But most girls were upset only because they didn't know what was being checked for. After learning that it's more for filth rather than mess, they agree more with the policy.
Hannah, is this really a new policy, or have RAs been doing it all along?
Yes and no. The fine is new, but RAs have always looked for cleanliness in night check. They are now just checking at a different time and really cracking down on student safety with warnings.
Hannah, thanks for breaking all that down for us.
No problem.
This semester, a new life group was created that uses art as a form of therapy to its members and a tool to share Jesus to the community. The life group is called How Great Thou Art and was started by nursing friends Cindy Rivera and Hei-Yin Lee. Though part of the life group consists of a short devotion and icebreaker, most of it focuses on creating art. Members who come get the chance to draw, paint, and color. They're encouraged to be creative and add a Bible verse to their final project. All of their artwork is meant to be given out as a form of ministry. Lee says the mission of her group is to do something for someone else.
It's so easy to focus on ourselves, like everything is about me having a good grade and like accomplishing stuff, but by doing this artwork, and artwork not for us but for other people, we learn how to serve.
2 weeks ago, members of the life group went to Morning Point to visit the senior home. The group sang for the residents and gave them the paintings students had been working on. The group is now working on encouragement cards. They will pass these out to the students during the midterms next week. How Great Thou Art meets every Saturday afternoon at the White Oak Room.
A select group of Southern's business majors are finding a way to give back to the community. SAU News reporter Hannah Davanzo shows us how.
Students from the School of Business Department spend several days of the week doing free taxes for low-income residents. Business major Niraj Patel is one of the students involved.
It's priceless seeing the people's faces when they realize how much money they're getting back, because usually the people we do taxes for, almost 90% of them get money back, and they need it for something that, with their family and stuff, so it's definitely really nice to help them.
The Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program provides free tax help to people who make under $56,000 yearly. Southern's business department has been involved since 2014.
While giving of your talents to help others is a generous act, there are a few requirements these students must master beforehand.
Professor Hyder from the School of Business has taken an active role in equipping his students with the knowledge to do people's taxes.
Well, the way the VITA program works is that every volunteer has to be certified by the IRS. At our site, we have everyone certified at the advanced level.
The School of Business had nearly 30 students taking the training required last year.
So after completing the training, then they have to pass the certification exam, and they have 2 attempts at it, and they must pass with at least 80% or higher.
Southern students are welcome to stop by Fleming Plaza and get their taxes done for free. For SAU News, I'm Hannah Davanzo.
VITA will be open on Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays until March 12th.
The School of Religion recently opened a History of the Bible exhibit in Hackman Hall. SAU News reporter Brenda Ramos takes us there.
The Bible exhibit, which opened in January, is called Script to Scripture. This is a sign located right in front of the special Bible exhibit in the Linwood Archeology Museum on the first floor of Hackman Hall. The museum coordinator says lots of people are coming to see the historic Bibles on display.
Lots of homeschool groups, and we've had a lot of people come through. I think our opening weekend, we had over 60 people just coming in, so it's been received really well.
SAU News was not allowed to record inside the museum. However, they did provide these photos. Here is a 1535 Bible that was the first translated into French. The preface was written by famous Protestant reformer John Calvin. This is known as the September Testament from 1522, the Bible Luther translated into German. This is part of the Gutenberg Bible, the first complete book to be printed on a movable type printing press. If you want to visit the museum, they are open every day of the week. Hours may vary. Check the Archeology Museum's website for more details. I am Brenda Ramos, coming to you from SAU News.
The Bible exhibit will be open from now until April of next year, not including school breaks and holidays.
Graphic design majors are showing off their creative projects for all to see. The Senior Design Showcase has been open for nearly 2 weeks. The senior designers compiled their best works from their years studying at Southern. The banners with long hashtag numbers represent the black and white theme of this year's show.
Well, we wanted you to know that not everything is as it seems. Like, it's so much work being put into this that a lot of non-designers don't realize that, like the hard sweaters, the printing, the collars, the composition that goes into this. That's what we want to showcase to you guys.
Prototypes such as fidget toys and tea bottles are also on display. The exhibit is open during the school's office hours, but will close by spring break. If you want to check out the gallery, visit the second floor of Brock Hall.
One of the newest courses offered on campus is fashion design. As I discovered this week, it's an opportunity to create and sew your own custom-made clothes. Take a look. Adjunct Professor Carl Winston Smith started working at Southern 2 years ago. With a background in clothes designing, Smith thought it was necessary to make a class on campus that would teach students the art of fashion.
If, as a denomination, we say that people should be dressed in a certain way, and out there in the fashion industry, they're not thinking of people dressing appropriately. And if they're the ones making the clothes, then we're stuck with what's out there. But if we train our folks to make the clothes, then we can do that.
Directly behind me are the stations where students craft their work. While the class is both for male and female students, many would agree that society has placed a stereotype that men should not be in fashion design. But student Isaac Abraham challenges that stereotype.
The class is not just about stereotyping whether what is male and what is female. I'm nursing, and that's predominantly female, but that doesn't mean the profession is a female profession. So everything in society cannot be placed in a mold. So I think this class is totally not sticking to that stereotype.
The fashion design class is offered both fall and spring semester. Students get to use their creativity while applying the new skills that they are taught, such as fashion illustration and sewing. For SAU News, I'm Estefania Sanchez. The course is available in both beginner and advanced sections, so for those worried that they may not have enough experience, to join the class, all you need is a desire to learn.
SAU News is a production of the TV news reporting class here in Southern School of Journalism and Communication. I'm Gia Arroyo.
And I'm Estefania Sanchez. Do you have a newsworthy story? Head over to our Instagram and send us a message.
Thanks for watching. Because of midterm exams and spring break, SAU News won't return until later this month. Until then, have a safe break.